What makes a good rider? What is the measure who is the best or the better rider? Well, I'm going to give you some thoughts on that in a moment. Hello there, and welcome. So over the years, especially when I first started riding out, I mean, I was okay on a bike, and I used to sort of look at myself and think, am I a good rider? How good am I? And when people used to say to me sometimes, are you a good rider? Do you think you're good on a bike? I'd often go, well, I think I'm average, I'm all right. I always very much played down my abilities to ride a motorcycle. And as a new rider, on reflection, I think I was right to say that as well, because back in my day we didn't have a lot of training, and passing your test on a 125 and then getting on a 600 without any extra training, and you couldn't ride it slowly and you ended up dropping your bike on turns and things like that, you weren't the best of riders. But one thing that always stuck in my brain was how a lot of other riders are so much quicker than me. And I always started to feel that I was inadequate as a rider because I wasn't fast. And of course that's just perception, and that's what I'm going to look at here, particularly today. If you're a new rider or particularly a young rider, think carefully about the perception of what is a good rider, and don't let that idea of speed define you on a motorcycle. Because actually, over the years, I've seen quite a number of students come through to me who, especially ones that want to do post-test training, they've often said, oh, my mates go around bends so much faster than I do, and I want to learn to be a much faster rider. And you go, okay. And it's interesting to see why that motivation's coming in, because a lot of it is peer pressure. And if you're a little bit slow in places, the perception is you're not very good. Well, maybe on a racetrack, when you're doing competition riding, that is absolutely what defines you. Staying on two wheels and being the fastest and getting to the end line, the finish line before anybody else, that is your definition of good, no doubt. But on the road, the definition of good has to be someone that keeps it on two wheels, doesn't have near misses, doesn't have collisions, and maximises their safety. And when it comes to the speed element of being good, it's knowing when to go fast and it's knowing when not to go fast. And if we could cure that issue, we wouldn't actually need speed limits at all, would we? Because it would be quite clear to everybody, if they were trained properly and had good perception of what speed is appropriate for a given set of circumstances, we could just say the whole country's national speed limit. Because you would ride according to what is actually there and how you need to be. So even after nearly 40 years of motorcycling, I still reflect on, am I a good rider? And people will still say to me, you must be a good rider because you're an instructor and you do this and you do that. And I still have a tendency to say, yeah, I'm okay, I'm alright. I'm far from the best. Someone actually said to me the other day, do you know any riders that are better than you? And I've gone, absolutely I do. Or I certainly know that they exist. I'm far from the best rider. And I always reflect. And the other day, I was going into work, and this Yamaha FJR 1300, I see him overtaking behind me in the 50 limit. I don't think he was going particularly quick on those overtakes. And he was sort of almost in my blind spot at one point. He was getting fairly close, and as you can see in this clip here, there's a car parked up and there's a car coming round, and I've moved my road positioning over a little bit and he's held his position 5 near the white line. And okay, you know, that's a matter for him. He eventually comes past me and he's pulled a few overtakes. Now, I've looked at those overtakes, and could I have done what he did? Well, I could have done. I'm perfectly physically capable. But what was it that made my brain decide I wasn't going to do what he did? Why did he overtake me and get ahead of me? Well, first of all is I'm never going to overtake across a junction. And when the speed limit is nearly being achieved, I don't see there's a lot to be gained by increasing your risk. So I wouldn't have done that. And you can see further on at the lights, he's actually in that left lane to turn right. Now, I've considered doing that in the past, but you've got to think about it. What if someone races you off the lights? What if that car that says it's turning right is actually goes ahead as you turn right across the front of it? So when we're looking at being the best rider and achieving, discretion being the better part of valour, as we used to say, don't always consider that because someone else has done it and has got away with it, don't always think that it's possibly the best thing to do. You know, I had moments there of reflecting on my riding, thinking I'm not making as much progress as this guy, perhaps I'm losing it a little bit, perhaps I'm not switching on, perhaps I'm not paying attention. But then I've made a risk assessment and I've decided for me that doesn't work and I don't want to go there. He made an assessment, he decided he was going to do it and it was worth it, and he did it. And I'm not criticising his riding, that's not what the purpose of this is about. The whole purpose is, don't be drawn into doing something because someone else does it. What's right for you might not be right for someone else. And that's important in advanced training, I believe, because you often hear you should be doing this and you must be doing that. Well, I'm not always so sure. I think there are so many shades of grey and very little black and white in motorcycle training and riding a motorcycle. I think the more flexible we are, the better it is. So if you're concerned about not being a very good rider, maybe just get an independent opinion of someone who's quite subjective about things and who's quite gracious about things. You know, you might find that you're not as bad as you think you are, and actually you might be quite good. So until next time, ride safe and take care.